It's so easy to get caught up in the content discovery aspects of an application security test that we can sometimes forget to take the time to actually understand the nature of the content in the application that we're discovering. And a really good tool that I like to use to understand how parameters are used across an application is Paramalyzer. And conveniently, it's available in the Burp app store. And as you can see here, I've already installed it. When you install it, you get this custom Paramalyzer tab, as I have here. And the great thing about this tool is that it's super easy to use. All you need to do is click the Analyze button, and it looks through our target requests and responses and builds us this nice table here. So what's going on here? What it does is it analyzes all of the requests and responses and looks for what it thinks are parameters, whether they're from the query string, from a path segment within the URL that it identifies as a REST parameter, from JSON objects, from cookies, or body parameters. And it gives them all a name, and it tells us the number of unique requests they were associated with, how many unique values it identified, the format that it thinks it's in, and quite a bit of additional interesting and useful information. In particular, if you're looking at the application for cross-site scripting type vulnerabilities, this reflect percent column is going to tell you what percentage of responses the parameter value was reflected in. So we can actually quickly sort by that, and you'll see that some parameters were reflected 100% of the time. Granted, there are only a few requests of these. And when I click the first one here, which is looking at a search parameter, down at the bottom, what it shows us are all of the values that it has seen for this parameter. Unfortunately, this one's not very interesting because it's just one value it's seen. I haven't extensively used the application, so I haven't built up many cases. But if I click on it, we get more information about it. It tries to tell us what it thinks it is, and it also shows us the corresponding request and response. And there we can see where it's identified that value in the request. And if I look in the response, well, I thought it might highlight it in the response. It did not. But that's okay, because you could use this as a starting point to send this request to Repeater and see how it is returned in the response and see if there's anything worthwhile that you might want to do with it. This can be a handy tool to, especially with a complex application, collect all of the parameters and just even go through them and try to understand how they're all used, whether some of them might have some relevance somewhere where you didn't know or didn't think to check. It can be used really as a really helpful tool to give you inspiration for things to try and test by just showing you what the parameters are that it's seen and how they're used across the application.